All right, at the time of me filming this, we're midway through September, and you know what that means. Q4 is right around the corner. And in order to make sure that we close out the year with a bang, we need to get clarity on what is it exactly we need to be doing. We don't need to run around in a million different directions and do everything. We just need to do a few key things. To get really crystal clear on that, we're going to do what I call calendar math. Don't worry, it's not spooky, frustrating economic model math or budget model math. This is easy math, and I even have a tool to make it even easier. What we're going to need to do calendar math is three pieces of information. We're first going to need to know your average contract to close time right now. So how long does it take once a contract goes into escrow to the time that you're giving your clients their keys? How long does that take? Second piece of information we need is your days on market for listings. How long, once you put a sign in the yard and it's live for showings, is it taking an average home to sell on your books? And the last thing, the third piece of information is what about your days on market for buyers? And I know no one really likes to look at this as much as they like to look at it for the sales side, the listing side, but we need to know it for buyers as well. When you have a ready, willing, and able A buyer, how long are they taking to see homes before they go under contract? That days on market as well. That's going to give us the life cycle for your buyers and for your sellers, your contract to close time plus your days on market for the respective type of client. It's going to give their life cycle. How long does it take them from start to finish? From that, we're going to go to one of my favorite websites in the entire world, timeanddate.com. You can also just Google calendar calculator, and it's the first one that comes up in the Google search. And we're going to reverse engineer the math. So go to the page that shows that you can add or subtract days from a certain date, plug in December 31st, and backtrack the life cycle of your sellers and your buyers to find out what is my D-Day. Now, before we just take the number that it gives us, so say, for example, it's going to take our sellers 30 days on market and it takes them 30 days contract to close, just for some easy math. So the life cycle of my seller is going to be 60 days. I'm going to take December 31st and backtrack 60 days and tell me what that gives me. I think that's about November 2nd, if I'm doing math in my head correctly, which never trust that. Before I just take that date for my gospel, I also need to take into account that there is, of course, Thanksgiving and other winter holidays that happen in December that we need to account for. Things slow down in the fourth quarter in terms of transactions. So we may want to give ourselves a little bit of extra padding around those dates. So I may say instead of November 2nd, I may say, okay, I want everything live on the market for my sellers by October 28th. Then I have my D-Day. I know that any listings that I anticipate are going to close by the end of the year, they have to be live and appropriately priced and appropriately marketed and all those wonderful things by October 28th, right? Same thing for the buyers, doing the math and figuring that out. Once we have those D-Days and once we have the clarity of, okay, that means I have X number of working days before that date to get things live on the market, then we get to look at our gap. How many properties do I need to close to clear my goal before the end of the year? And then ask ourselves, do I have enough leads to do that? And if the answer is yes, great. What do I need to do to make sure that those leads close? And if the answer is no, what do I need to do to go find that business before the year is up? The whole point of this is to zero in on the clarity of what do I have in the pipeline? How much time do I have to clear it? And what do I need to still go on the hunt for? Remembering, of course, that clarity is power. So before we just call Q4 a wash, take a moment to get into timeanddate.com, figure out the lifespan of your current buyers and sellers, and let's figure out what is our D-Day and how much time do I have to work with.